Welcome back to this tutorial series on working with the True32 Project Tracker Airtable template. In this video tutorial we will take a closer look at estimates in the Project Tracker. This is an awesome app, but it takes some practice to master it, so I recommend you schedule some one-on-one time to learn the basics. Then we can move on to more advanced topics. It would be better to do several sessions than a baptism by fire with a really long multi-hour marathon session. You can schedule one-on-one sessions at my website, bobobuckley.com, and you go to the store, and then at the store you have these two items, consulting on-site and consulting remote online session. For this, I would presume that you would prefer to do some online sessions, although people that are fairly close by or people that want more consulting for longer periods of time certainly could choose the on-site option. Remember, you're making a custom app. How cool is that? And you can customize it in any way you see fit. So this app becomes your app. Once you get it, you rename it, you make it your own, and you can change anything about it. So what is an estimate? An estimate is an accurate approximation of a project's cost. What's the difference in an estimate and a ballpark estimate? Well, in the case of using Custom Cabinet Estimator, we're going to take care of those details or cover those details that we do not cover in the ballpark estimate. So the ballpark estimate is typically based on those three numbers that we have in our rates here, the 650, the 850, and the 1500 being some guessed at numbers, but they're coming from this field where we're looking at this per cabinet cost here and looking at that as an average and as a minimum, so 640, 615, and then as a max. And of course, the more numbers you have, the better off it is. And in this case, it's all the way down to 950, but really that should be up. I don't have enough jobs in here to really drive that where it needs to be, and none of them are really high-end jobs apparently. So we're working on averages with a ballpark estimate, and that's not the case if we're using Custom Cabinet Estimator for an estimate. We're working on the actual details, the selections, the doors, the drawer fronts, the drawer boxes, the finish, the steps of the finish, and each one of those things are accounted for in detail. And so if an estimate is produced in Custom Cabinet Estimator and nothing changes from the time that they get their estimate to the time they want a proposal, the only thing that changes on the proposal is the title at the top of the page, because it is accurate, with one exception, and I'll show you that when we do the next session on proposals. So the estimate itself doesn't happen here in our Airtable base. It happens in Custom Cabinet Estimator. And since this series is not about Custom Cabinet Estimator, I don't want to spend a lot of time here, but I do want to jump into this job and just show you the level of detail we're talking about. So if we jump into our Buttercup Castle job and go into the rooms, and right now, for example, I'm only including two of these rooms. I've got Castle Dungeon 1, 2, and 3, but we're only including the first two in our example. And so if we jump into one of these rooms, we see that we've collected all of the selection processes that give us extreme accuracy. So we know what door they're using for the base cabinets, what door they're using for the upper cabinets, what drawer front they're using, appliance panels, panelized ends, wainscot panels. We know what the wood species is for all of those things. We know what our finish process and the color and the glaze color for all those things. We know what our interior of our cabinet is made out of if it's an unfinished interior. We know what it's made out of if it's a finished interior. We know what drawer system is being used and what drawer guide is being used. For the cabinets, we're actually tracking each cabinet based on the linear footage for the room and then each cabinet being entered. So we have one drawer over single, and three one drawer over pair, and one 3-drawer stack, and one false front over pair door. So we're being very, very specific. Here in the upper cabinets, we've got 2 pair doors that have finished interior. We've got 2 single doors, and then 3 pair doors. Being very, very specific. In the tall cabinets, we've got a 4-door pantry, and we've got an oven type cabinet with a microwave and a drawer beneath. So we've got very specifics there. We know exactly what the finished ends are for this project. We know how many fillers there are. We know how many pieces of toe board will be used. We know how many hinges and drawer guides and leg levelers and suspension system. If nothing changes after you field measure, then this is as accurate as the proposal. But what typically happens is you are still guessing to a certain extent at this point, but we are accounting for all of the details. It may not be the exact right details, but we're accounting for the details. So this usually is really, really close unless your design is not very tight at that point. Again, I usually field measured after this. I was trying to win the job before I went out to their home. But you have your accessories and your trim and molding and your labor rates. All of these things are set in Custom Cabinet Estimator, and that's why it's so accurate. So from there, we get this report coming out of Custom Cabinet Estimator. And here, the only thing we care about today, we want this report in a PDF form that we can supply to the customer. But right now, to be able to enter it into our Airtable base, we want to know how many cabinets are in each room. So here's our total cabinets, 15 cabinets for Castle Dungeon 1. Then we have all the details about Castle Dungeon 1 here. Then some images about the details. So what drawer system is being used in this room, what hinge, what crown molding. In the next room, we have 8 cabinets. So we have a total of 23 cabinets. That's that number we're looking for, is what's the total actual cabinets for the estimate. And again, we still have all of these details about this, but then we also want to know what this number here is. So it's 29,275.32. So we're going to want to enter that, and then we'll enter this PDF. So from here, we'll go to our projects. We'll actually enter into the project, the Princess Bride Enterprises Vizzini Sicilian project. And we've already entered our link to companies and contacts, which creates the name of the job. We've already entered our category. We've already entered our project manager and our kickoff date and our due date. And we've already entered our ballpark estimate. And now we're looking to, and typically in between these two, you would do your link to rooms. So this step was covered in another video, so I didn't want to create a video specific to it because that's pretty simple. You're just collecting that information. So I've left that out. We're going straight from the ballpark estimate to the estimate. So we add our estimate, and we don't have one yet. So we want to add new record, and it will name it for us. There it is, and then we're going to enter those numbers that we collected. So we got 23 actual cabinets, and our actual estimate is 29,275.32, and then it will calculate our per cabinet cost, $1,272.84. And we still haven't won or lost it. We're just now getting to the point we've won the opportunity through our ballpark estimate to estimate the project. They've agreed that they can afford our cabinetry, and now we're providing them with an actual estimate. And then the next thing we would do is attach that estimate to this card. So we go here, select file, and then you just go to wherever you have all your files at, and I do have that job right here. And just attach it, and then upload it. And once that is uploaded to the project, you can invite the customer to it if you want, and they can see it in this format. So instead of emailing it to them, you might email them a link to this and let them see it here. And if they want to download it, they can. When they're on this page, they can download this file or print this file from here. They're not blocked from doing that, but they can see it here, and it's that single source of truth we've talked about several times, that everything's in one place. And so the customer can see their estimate, scroll through it, look at all the details about it. Then when they're done, they just click on the X to close it. So we've added our estimate. We've attached our file. We have an estimated cabinet quantity of 23, or actual cabinet quantity for the estimate. And we have our cost, and we have a per cabinet cost. That's it for this tutorial on estimates in the Project Tracker Airtable base. Next, we'll take a closer look at the proposal. Thanks for watching.